and then you read that Tom Steyer, the left-wing Stanford activist area guy who ran for president, who made his fortune financing coal plants in Indonesia, says, I need to be taxed more. He's worth about $3 billion. And then Mitt came out. Remember Mitt? Mitt said that he thinks that that people should be taxed more, and he wants to pay. No, you're not a big humanitarian, Mitt. You're almost worth $1 billion. So what you're saying at the end of your life, you think that you should pay a few $100,000 more out of your multi-billion-dollar fortune or hundreds of million-dollar fortune. But young Mitt didn't say that. And young people who are making 80, 90, 100,000 trying to buy a house don't say that. I'm getting so tired of this fake magnanimity, humanity by these very wealthy people who say, I need to be taxed more. Warren Buffett, I might second. Well, then pay it. Pay it. All you have to do is write a check to the government and say, I'm undertaxed. Well, Victor, that wouldn't cover everybody. Well, don't worry about anybody. Set by your moral example. Open up a foundation and say, Mitt pays 60%. Join me. You can do it. Just do it. But don't tell Joe Smith out there who's driving a tractor all day long and then goes to a forklift night job so he can make $80,000 that he needs to pay more taxes. It's disgusting. And in California, of the 40 million people here, 1% of the households pay 50% of the taxes. And they're leaving. They're leaving. Joel Cotton has a great he writes variations of it, but they're all unique and original. And he's just pointing out that the whole blue stripe model, the Minnesotas, the Massachusetts, the Illinois, the New York, is imploding. 4 or 5 million people a year are leaving.
Can I interrupt?
Crime, high tech. Yes.
Joel Kotkin, that's who you're talking about, right? Where did he write? I mean, he writes all over, but
he writes all over.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I'm not sure. I just read it this morning at 4:30 in the morning, so I can't remember where, but it's listed in realclearpolitics.com, so you can all go there. And it's a very good article. He just points out what he's tried to warn people, that the blue state model allows young people not very much job opportunities, no housing opportunities, gas, electricity, all highly regulated by very wealthy people who are up in the attic looking at you, down at you, and they pulled up the ladder. That's what the whole psychology
I don't think they're in the attic. I think they're in the penthouse looking down.
Exactly. But it's depressing to see this fake magnanimity by very, very blessed people who now suddenly want to pay more taxes, and yet they don't. They don't.
Yeah, and that, they do have that Buffett Gates effort with quote unquote. It's not charity; it's philanthropy, where they could be addressing real issues, poverty, whatever they want, local, but instead they're more interested in spending money on abortion overseas.
Yeah, I would tell Buffett and I would tell Mitt, you made enough money. Don't make any more money. You won't have to pay any tax. Don't worry about the taxes. Mitt, just don't keep investing, or what all the money you have and you're trying so desperately to get 8% here and 7%, 10%. Why not just put it in, I don't know, Bank of America at 4% and just relax? And then you wouldn't feel so guilty because you wouldn't be making so much money without physical labor. And then you wouldn't have to worry. But this idea that you made all this money and you had this elite lifestyle and you're still an investor, and all of a sudden you decide, don't pay capital gains. Just take your money, Mitt, and pay it at the income tax rate. Do not pay at the income. Just say, you know what? It's a technicality. This is income tax. This is money that came from capital gains, but I'm gonna pay the income tax rate, just like Joe Blow. But I really, you can see what happened to the Republican Party. I know there's internal divisions and rifts in the Republican Party today, but compared to I don't know, ever since the Bob Dole, the McCain, the Bush, the Mitt model did not have a lot of empathy for the working middle class. George W. Bush had more than the others, but not a lot of empathy. And you can really, this is what also I think bothers us, because I pick up the Wall Street Journal. I know people who write there. I like it. It's a great but their news division is not their op-ed. You look at almost every person who is writing now for the Wall Street Journal and just hit their name and go down on their bio, and it's the Atlantic, it's Politico, it's Washington Post, it's New York Times. That's where they came from. And I always say it's Monday now. They've had the weekend to digest last week's good economic news, that inflation is down to 2.7 from the 3% that Trump inherited, that there is a lot of strong forecast that the economy may grow 4% in the first quarter. It could even go up to 4.5. And job growth, unemployment went a little higher, but job growth was much higher than expected. But more importantly, this is really the first jobs report where all the growth came from legal employment and not illegal immigrants. 2 million people who were largely on the dole are gone. So I thought, well, they have 48 hours now. And sure enough, you pick it up and it's not working. The tariffs aren't, nothing's working. It's bad. And then by the end of the week, they will be forced to report a good economic data point, and then they'll have the weekend to revision it. And Monday, you'll see how bad everything is.